Okay, so here's where we're at. Everybody keeps laying eggs. Luscious, it is not looking good. So she had an egg in there before that was a solid yellow, like the yolk had spread all throughout the egg, which I suspected meant that it had been fertile at one point and then fizzled and was starting to rot. Now she has 2. So she had 3 fertile eggs last time we were looking at her, and one that looked like it was all yolk. One of her eggs has disappeared completely. I'm going to guess that it dried out and she ate it, because there is no sign of it anywhere. One of her eggs still looks fertile and very far along, like it's going to hatch any time. And 2 of her eggs now are solid yolk, which means that that youngest fertile egg also fizzled. What I'm seeing here is that Luscious is basically infertile. I can still hope for fertility out of that last egg, but it may be that she's just old enough so that none of her embryos are going to be viable anymore. Nevertheless, I'm sure that she can still raise chicks. So, I'm going to leave her on the eggs that she's got. I'm still hoping we're going to get 1 chick out of her. That means that the 4 chicks that I left for Fluffy, the 4 fertile embryos that I left for Fluffy, the youngest one will end up, or the oldest one, no, the youngest one will end up going to Luscious. And now Remington, who keeps laying eggs, still has the small yolk one that's infertile, and she's now has the 3 very solid chicks that are going to hatch anytime soon, and then a big space and 2 newly developing embryos. So what I'm thinking is, what happens next kind of depends on what happens with Luscious. If she manages to hatch a chick, then we still have 1 embryo to offload. Either way, she's going to end up with one of Fluffy's embryos, so she'll be raising that chick, and she's going to end up with either 1 or 2 of Remington's embryos, depending on whether she ends up with a chick of her own to hatch. So we got to wait for a few more days and see what happens. Who's going to start hatching out what? I'm going to leave those 2 youngest embryos from Remington in there, because what I will end up doing is, if Luscious doesn't hatch any babies, I'll hand her Fluffy's youngest chick and then those 2 late developing eggs, and she'll end up with a family of her own, provided she stays on that nest for long enough. So she shows every indication of doing that. Now, I know that this fertility issue is about Luscious, because I know that Limey is young and very fertile, and all of his chicks hatch. So, this is Luscious. She has no band on, but clearly she's an old hen, and she's going to be useful as a foster mom. But probably, I'm not holding my breath that I'm even going to get 1 chick out of her, because things are not looking good. So, that's where we're going. She's going to play foster mom to at least 1 or 2 chicks from Remington and Fluffy, and earn her keep that way instead. Okay.